Okay, so in this video, I'm going to pour a glow-in-the-dark exposed aggregate concrete sort of sidewalk and steps here. So I have rebar and the expansion joint along the house and some dowels into the foundation to hold this in place for many years. And we actually, we put in a bit more rebar before we started pouring. This is 1% black, 32 exposed. And here I'm using the Cadillac's stand-up float. So this is a fantastic tool. Man, I use this tool every single job. It is, it's my go-to. Now I poured this super dry, and you know what we're doing is we're just closing up the surface and getting it nice and flat. Then we're going to wait a little bit, let it set up, and go over it again. So to get your Cadillac tools, go to cadillacconcrete.com. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work the surface and get it prepped so that we can get to the point where we can basically seed in the glowstones, and you can see that later. But the real important thing here is getting this nice and smooth and flat and getting it closed up right away. So we're going to work it back and forth, put some edges in, get it nice and smooth. So now we've jumped a bunch of steps. We didn't capture that part on video, but we're getting to the point now where I want to show you guys where the firmness is in this concrete. Okay, so it's not quite ready yet, but we're gonna go over it just to close it up, make it nice and smooth one last time. Okay, it's nice and smooth. Now here's the ambient glow technology glowstones, and these things are incredible. They're super strong. So these ones are the green. These are sort of a green tone to them. And what I'm going to do is just hold my fingers open with my palm and just sort of gently seed this in. You don't want to drop a bunch in one area. Just kind of let a consistent flow happen with your hands. So you can see I just let it fall through my fingers, just like that. So with this project, we use two colors of glowstone. We use this this green, and then we also use this white, sort of a light blue tone of color. And so we had to get this right because we went through the whole slab just like this. We seeded it on really heavy all the way down, and then we came through with the secondary color and added more stone on top of this. So this glowstone sidewalk was seeded really heavy with the glowstone, and still I wanted it to glow more after. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly use the steel trowel to get the glowstone just under the surface so you can see. And the really important thing here is getting that stone in at the right time, because if it's too dry, you're not going to close it up. The stone won't close up. So what I did was I put the stone in when the concrete was a little bit wet. The surface was a little bit wet. You can see just by the corner of the light there that the concrete is a little bit wet. And then essentially I just slowly closed it up with the steel trowel. And one, maybe two hits with this is key. I think overworking this is going to push the glowstone too far down that you won't be able to expose it, or you won't even see it. One thing I'm going to do next time is I'm going to soak the glowstone in water, and then I'm going to put it in. So this was applied dry, and so it absorbed well. Like the concrete grabbed onto these little glowstones really well, but I think on a hot day that would totally change the game of this stuff. Now they have different sizes, so check out ambient glow technology glowstones, and they got different size stones, different colors, red, blue, pink I think, and all different sizes. One way to really test is get yourself a small sample pad and just cast in regular stones and try this on your own. Yep, so I can't express this enough. These stones are small and you can drop a huge clump in one area and I just don't know how that would look. But what we did was we just seeded it on nice and gentle, just like that, to try to get a nice even coverage and you know, get enough in there as well. So I think next time what I would do is just make a little slab. That way I can test with maybe some small pebbles, because the small pebbles are going to act very similar to the way that these glow pebbles are acting. And that way too, it gets you a feel on how to spread it, you know, how to get even consistency if that's what you want, or maybe there's a pattern that you want to lay out and embed it into the surface. You know, I always found that practicing with it before actually implementing it into the concrete, you're going to understand how that's going to work, and it's going to give you a better understanding just how things are going to turn out. Yeah, so we got a bit of roughness there in the surface, and we're going to go through this again and get that a bit smoother, you know, to get the consistency and flatness there. Yeah, so there's already glowstone in that top step. This is our second layer on there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and float in this first layer, and the same thing, nice and slow. Even sort of a circular motion would work super well. Now if I did this again, like I said, I would definitely soak those stones in water before and strain it out so they're wet stones. The reason for that is that the wet stone's going to grab onto the concrete a lot better and almost absorb the cementitious properties into the stone. Okay guys, so here I fell into the surface a little bit, and you can see where my trowel is. And now there's stone in there, so if I left that, there might be an indentation. There might be an area where that aggregate went way down and didn't get exposed. So you can see I just kind of fell in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close that back up, get it nice and smooth, and make sure that there's no mark there. And then I'm going to take that color again and just hand seed that, just that one area, just in case when I fell in there with my float, just like that, see? So just to make sure that that consistency is there. Keep in mind, the concrete's still wet, so everything is repairable. You just have to sort of slow down and think, because this can be very, you know, a moment when some people could get stressed out or angry about it. But it's very important. If a mistake or something happens, maybe a dog walks in it, a squirrel or something like that, you always want to remember that when that concrete's still soft, you can try to fix it and try to make sure that you know, it's going to be a really nice product when you're done. So there's a nice close-up of what's happening when I'm floating that. See that? Now it's starting to look real good. We got some glowstone in there. Just got to close up this little area here. So the product that I use is Top Cast 100 to do this exposed aggregate finish, and that's Top Cast 100 by Dayton Superior. And you can check out another video, which I'll link up above, where we get a bit more into detail on how to do the exposed aggregate concrete. So I'll leave that up above, and or you can just check out the rest of the videos to find it. Okay, here we go. We came back the next morning and we started to pressure wash this. And man, this was so cool. This was just such a very satisfying thing to watch. Is not only you're washing off exposed aggregate, which is already satisfying, but you have these little glow pebbles. If I was to do it again, I would probably just use the white glow pebbles. The green ones look great. It's just my personal preference. I think that the white would blend in better, more natural with the exposed aggregate, and sort of lead to a surprise later on. So it takes a bit of time just to really test it out to make sure that the little glow pebbles aren't blowing off the surface, just to really give it a good solid cleaning, get all the cement paste off of it, so that the sealer can really penetrate this and bring out the color even more. Alright guys, please subscribe, comment, and hit that notifications button. I'm also going to leave a new link to my Twitter where you can actually leave a tip. I'd really appreciate it, guys. I'm just a small business owner and it takes me a lot of time to put these videos together. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo-Guelph area, check out my website at theartofconcrete.ca.